This is the Outliers Edge podcast, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity by taking them to the edge of their comfort zone so that they can lead us to the edge of what's next. I'm your host, Niiamah Ashong. Let's do this.
Hello, it's Niiamah Ashong here. I'm smiling at myself here. I have to say it. I'm Niiamah Ashong, founder of Outliers Edge, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. I got to smile at myself because I just started to stick with Jebelo. I haven't said that in about 15 years. There was a time where I had my own talk show. This wasn't on college radio or anything like that. It was with the Home Alone Talk Boy. And I have this memory of me and my cousin sitting in our toy room and just recording a talk show for hours. And eventually I came up with a little hello phrase, which was Jebelo. I don't know what it means. It just was. So for that to come out right now, it just feels right. Let's say this. It just is. So I got tickled by that. And I love the idea of this being a space of both exploration and kind of excavation, bringing out that which is already in that might have been buried, that which is here that may not have had any space. Jebelo showed up, and I'm like, oh, I wonder where, what new gifts will come out of that, what new stories I'll be able to share, what new things will be coming forth simply because of a moment that somehow took me back to my youth. I'm going to play with that here. Today, we get a chance to play with an amazing outlier here. We're going to be playing with April Frazier. April, it's really great to be in space with you. It's great to be back in connection with you. Thank you for being here in this space with me.
Thank you, Niiamah. It is good to be with you. Always good energy. Just we go back, as they say.
Yeah.
And in COVID years, this is everything. So I honor you. I thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. See, when you say we go back, I think about it. I'm like, you were there at the very, very, very beginning of my transformation journey, at least what I would consider the latest saga of my transformation journey, from coaching and going in and discovering more about me and learning. We were still Nemo at that time. And also just learning just how much about me I didn't already know. And sorry, let me rephrase that, because there's still more about me that I don't know. Learning that there was a lot about me that I didn't already know. I'm excited to be in this conversation with you in particular, because I said this beforehand, I cherish you. I think you're awesome. And it's not like you and I are talking all the time or anything like that, but there's something special about who you are. And I'd love to share a little bit right now and just kind of calibrate for myself the amazingness that I feel when I'm in space with you. You good with that?
Let's do it.
All right, cool, April. So April, this is who you are to me, right? When I think about you, April, I think about, so there's something beyond confidence that goes with you, right? What I feel for you is in my mind's eye right now, I'm seeing an entire island, a luscious island with vegetation all around. There is the volcano, and volcano for me is really, really important. I realized that it's been coming up as a symbol in my life a lot recently, because it represents just a pillar of structure in the world. But also to me, it has all the elements of it. All the elements live within it. There's earth, you can see it. It's like a mountain. There's fire. There's the lava that comes in. Then you spew things up in the air, and there's smoke and wind, and even the lava itself doesn't just burn in a certain way. No, it moves like liquid, like water. And when I think about you, I experience you as all those elements in one, the capacity of being both grounded and rooted, but then having having a fire ablaze to you that can burn really hot. And it's not hot. I guess the thing about it is there's an element of it that just will penetrate, it doesn't let the blaze, but I think lava feels really appropriate here. It will penetrate. And the thing is, once the lava gets cooled down, it actually becomes new earth, right? And your ability to flow like it really just I think about every interaction. I think about how you show up in the world. I think about how you show up for me. I'm like, this is someone who has this like just the capacity to just continue being. And one of the other things I'll say here is that you remind me the juiciness of life, of like being exactly like in the right flow, right? So sometimes I think, oh, I have to go out and catch up. I got to do all these things here. And when I come on with you, I don't feel like I'm slowed down. I just feel like I'm in like a natural flow. And it's something about the way that you choose to be and the way that like you create the world around you that is really, really exciting. And I'm glad to be in space with you. I'm excited for this conversation. It's good to be here with you.
Thank you, Niiamah. That's very, you happen to strike me at a time. Vulnerability moment is a little bit scary for me to say, but you happen to hit me, or we have this conversation at a time where I'm having trouble acknowledging flow for me. I'm wanting to resist flow, and I'm also in a place where it's been a tough year for me. And I'm having to find myself again. And it's just been one of those series of life experiences where I feel kind of tossed by the flow rather than following the flow. And I trust that I'm going to continue to be where I need to be, but I gotta say, it's your words hit right on time. It's a long way of saying, so thank you for that mirror. I appreciate that very much. And as we were talking before we started recording, I think you're fascinating, so we could talk about that. But and fascinating because there's such a vibrance to you and a good energy to you. You being such a strong extrovert, and yet people can spend time with you and never have really seen you. And it's not to be underestimated that there are some people who are really extroverted because they need something. They need something from their environment, from other people, validation or reciprocity or just love. They need it. And it's like they don't even realize that their form of giving is really a form of clever selfishness to get something. And you are not one of those people.
All right, you have to give a chance to like check in on that. Okay, so let me check in. So the couple of things that are happening right now. One, it's hard to receive that last bit, right? Because in my mind, I have all these walls that came up. I'm like, no, I have ulterior motives. They're not like straight up, but like I don't think that I'm altruistic. And at the same time, I also want to like receive what it is that like where that's coming from, you know. And so I'm going to live in a dichotomy of both of them. Yeah, you mentioned that I'm fascinated, and I'm like I'm really curious about that. I had talked to you before we hit record. I had mentioned the word care. I think that's what's really showing up nowadays. Like I'm deep, like I care and I'm curious. And there's a way that I can be curious that keeps me out of the conversation. I've said this for years now. I've always known how to be well known, but I don't know how to be known well. And I feel that there was a stage. You caught me at the stage where I was like, okay, let me start working on this, like known well. And first and foremost, do I know myself well? Because like, how can I expect anyone else to if I'm not in alignment and in tune to that? And now I'm trying to play this game. There's still so much more about me I got to find out, and so much more that will be coming up. But I'm in this stage of saying, how do I play both? How do I really play both of them? And there's an element of it that if I can say this right now, I feel like it's messy and it's scary. The messy I'm actually pretty good with. And that's like, I've had to recreate like the ability to like have every moment be a valuable moment. Cause I'm like, look, I'm going to be messy because if you're not good with mess, you probably don't want to come here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started out this thing here. I hit record, and all of a sudden, Jebelo popped out of my mouth. I'm like,
which I love, by the way. I love
Thank you. Right? It's like there's something there. It was really cool back in the day. It was really cool, but like for now, I was like, oh, that's curious. But to be in that space and play with it here is important. I love that you see it. I love that you call it out. Like you are a truth teller, and there's something really about that's incredibly powerful. Let's do this, April. I know there's two things I want to do. I want to keep exploring and like see where this conversation goes. I would love to give you. I shared about like who you are to me. I want to give you some space here to talk about like who you are out in the world, or how you see yourself or how others may see you, to whatever extent that you want to share, whether it's personal or professional. Just give you some little bit of space of that. Then we'll continue on our conversation.
Okay. I think I talk to people all the time about the two voices. There's the voice that you use to talk to yourself, and there's the voice that you use to talk about other people. And those voices are almost never the same in my experience and in my life. So at the end of the day, I'm a beacon. That's how I think of myself. I'm a beacon for it tends to be women who are buried beneath trauma and who want to tell the truth, but they're scared. And we have this tendency of telling the truth. I want to write the book. I want to become a coach. I want to launch the business. I want to, whatever it is. But we only want to tell the truth that's polite, that's palatable, that doesn't unearth any bodies. And I receive what you said about me as a truth teller, because I feel like that's part of my gift, is for people who are ready and for people who want to take that journey and really tell the truth. And not just about trauma, but about strength. I can't tell you how many people I talk to, men and women, who they only see themselves through the lens of one way. And generally it's, the mistakes they made and the weaknesses they have and the ways they're not enough. And a lot of the gifts that they can recognize and paint in a negative lens actually are really positive if they can change the lens and get in the energy that can empower them through that lens. Essentially, that's what I do. A confidence coach, a leadership coach, we can put a lot of names on it. Lately, I've been calling myself a guide, because people who are attracted into my orbit, usually it's because I told them the truth and they're shocked by their truth, but they agree. And they didn't realize.
Yes.
I just this week, okay, so I took a little post-COVID, quick sidebar, post-COVID and everything, and I was like, you know what, I need like a side job, something real easy, something that doesn't, no meetings, no teams, like just something. And I happen to be, I love to talk about health and everything, so I took this little juice job making smoothies and serving fresh pressed, organic, totally she juice, okay, but I love this stuff, so it's cool. And there's a woman that works at the same place. She works actually for a different department, but I've been watching her. I've been watching her for weeks, and we made friends, and we're cool. And I said to her, just like I said to you the first day we met, didn't realize I'd even process it at all this way, but it was real true to me. It was crystal clear. And I said to her, this job is too small for you. You're a leader. It's always going to feel uncomfortable when you're playing small. I don't know where the words came from, Niiamah. I don't know. I didn't even wasn't conscious of that at all until that moment. And you know what she said? It's true. I feel like I've been waiting for something. I don't know what it is. And I said, well, that's where I can help you. That's the kind of stuff I do. And it's effortless. It's a part of who I am. I can't help it. My husband tells me I'm a beacon for women because it seems like I attract. And it's not that I try. It just... And I help people tell the truth. And that's telling the truth whether they have a business, or they just need to develop greater awareness of self so that they can feel good about who they are and own that stuff. Like, own it, all of it. They only want to own the part of the story that is negative, and that's not fair. So that's not the marketing version of what I do. That's the world according to April.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Say that last bit again.
I just hope people tell the truth.
Yeah. So for me, thank you for that, because like you actually captured on something. I was going out, I had done this podcast, and I'd done versions of this podcast, and I was reaching out to people. I was like, I need to go find interesting people in the world and bring them in, and so on and so forth. And when they came onto this, like into the conversation, I was getting the market inside of them. I'm like, I get it. You have a product, you have a business. I get it. Like, but you are not that. Like, I'm here for the conversation with you. If I wanted, like, why is that missing from here? You know? And so I just want to let you know, I'm deeply appreciative that you're just like, this is, at the end of the day, I'm like, I just help people tell the truth, like, plain and simple. And what I love was when you're like, it's effortless for you to like both observe and say the truth. I think that's something that is that's really special about you, because you talked about the first time that we met, and we all went out to dinner for that time. And what was really fun for me, as you said, is like, I don't tend to think of myself as having a good memory. I tell people a lot about my number one fear, which is being alone, but I rarely mention my number two fear, which is like forgetting things, like losing my memory. There's like certain movies that I can't watch, and like because one day I realized, I'm like, oh, my life is really good. Like, my life would never not be good. And I'm like, the only thing that would take away from it is I would hate to not remember this, you know? So when you said like the first time you met, it was really great for me, because a full picture came in mind. I'm like, oh, I remember the restaurant. I remember we were all seated, and like how we were figuring that out, and like how we were like figuring out each other as a group, trying to figure out like the walk over there and the walk back. And I remember the first truth that you laid on me. I don't remember what you said, but like I remember the experience of it. And I think that's something that, like, I think that's why, like, we've known each other for a while, but that's why I keep coming back in your world, because it's like there's a resonance of the experience of truth with you. You know, there's a resonance. Let me know if there's a quality to this that you may know of, but I think that there are people out there who see truth, but they can't deliver truths, right? Either so or they don't. So there's people who see them and they don't say anything, you know, they're like, it's not my problem, or for whatever reason they don't say it. And then there's people who see the truth and then they try and make sure that you know it. They're like, what? I'm just a truth teller. Like, don't hate me because I'm telling the truth here.
Yeah. Keeping it real.
Just keeping it real. Yeah. But you need to know. No one's gonna tell you. Like, but like, there it is. Like, I told you. Don't be mad at me. Don't hate the messenger. Like, there's that kind of thing, right? And then there's something that, like, you found a really wonderful space with you, which I'd just be kind of curious if there's anything around it for you. But like, where you're able to deliver both, and you deliver it powerfully, you deliver it honestly, you deliver it genuinely, but you also don't hold back. You're like it's not the easiest thing to hear, like, yo, what are you doing here? Like, this job is way too small for you. Like, you should be playing somewhere else. I'm really curious about that component for you there, like living in that third realm.
The thing is, I don't mean to. Like, it's so natural for me that I'm not aware. Even with you, that first day, I wasn't aware that it was so obvious to me. And yeah. I think I said something to you like, no, the world needs to see you. Yeah. It was so obvious to me that it didn't feel like it would hit you or land in any kind of way. It was just like, well, Avi. And it happens like that all the time. For whatever reason, I say something and it seems really obvious to me. It doesn't seem like a big deal at all. But it hits just like the person just a door unlocked. And I'm like, oh, that door was locked for you? That seems pretty obvious to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess it's a gift. I do think of it as a gift, but I can never know. I can't tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many times someone has come back to me and said, I remember this thing you said, and they will tell me almost verbatim what I said. I don't remember saying it.
No. Yep, I get you. Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that hit for you? Okay, cool. I had somebody come find me years later, something I said, and Niiamah, at the time, my heart was breaking. I was going through a divorce. I was as raw and as unprotected emotionally as I've ever been. And I'm used to being a warrior queen. Like, I will get it done. I will slay. I will put on. But I was totally stripped of any armor, and I just didn't even have the strength to posture.
Yeah.
So I said something to somebody in this time that just felt right. Had no idea what hit. 2 years later, somebody's tracking me down. Just found me on Instagram. I finally found you. I have to tell you, what you said was exactly what I needed to hear. Okay, what did I say?
Yeah. Like as you're talking, there's a couple different things that play out for me, and I think it's one of them is like I feel like you're a truth teller of greatness. Like you see someone's greatness and you tell the truth around that. Sometimes it's nice to hear. Sometimes it's like it's shocking to hear. But like I don't remember words. I remember energies. I remember how I felt, around things. And I think there's the element of being seen. And it's one thing I'm hearing from you as well. You're like people see their weaknesses, but you see them in their greatness, and you'll talk to them about it in that realm. It's not hyperbole. It's not made up. It's just like well, it's obvious to me that this is here. So let's just. And I think this is the thing that I think also makes you really powerful and really fun to be around. It's like you ain't trying to be powerful. I know for myself, I know what I've taken on. Like we both like I've had mentors who like exude power, and I would come in and I'd be like, but what if this was how you did everything in life? And like I'm like, is that supposed to hit? But like you're just like there's just a natural element to it here that comes out. I'm glad that you let that out there. A part of me hopes you figure it out. Another part of me says like, I hope you never figure it out. But like, as long the fact of the matter is you can't help it. Even if you did, like you can't help it. So I'm grateful for that.
Can we have a quick sidebar before?
Yeah.
Quick sidebar about that, because the tricky part of it is that, and I'm going to call myself out here, that I'm just now starting to notice the upside and of the difficulty of this year is that I've had a chance to really get present and forced to slow down. When I became a professional coach, I started to try to figure out how to monetize that gift. And I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm like, yeah, okay, so I got gifts. I'm going to give them to people. And I need clients, and I need like a business, and I need a website and marketing jargon and a blog. And I'm going to try to figure out how to, do this like professionally. And I had a boyfriend once when I was in college. I remember he said to me, when you try to do something, it loses all the naturalness and you ruin it. If you just, and he was speaking at that time in terms of like my language ability. I happen to be really, I have a natural capacity for absorbing language. And if I try to speak Spanish with someone, can't remember the words. But if I just get in a conversation and start enjoying it, they understand me perfectly fine. And actually, you know what, Niiamah? It's just occurring for me in this conversation. It's just really occurring for me. Aha moment that's kind of been my struggle. It's like I'm trying to figure out how to monetize this thing. And I've been moderately successful in doing so, but it doesn't feel right. The energy's not right. The internet will just like, the gurus tell you all the stuff you have to do. And April ain't never had to do any of that stuff. April just got to be April. And I feel like I'm just really, that just really hit me. Like, I'm doing it wrong. And it makes sense, so much sense, because the moment I try to like have a webinar and have a sequence and do all the stuff they say and hire an assistant, and the moment I try to do that stuff, I'll do it. But then the day comes, I'm supposed to have a webinar, and I just totally feel taken out of flow. And my power is in flow. I know that, but intellectually, but emotionally, myself, calling myself out, I keep losing a grasp on the embodiment of that truth for me. And it's not that I want to be. I'm one of those people. Some people, no disrespect to anybody, but some people become a coach because, you know, it's a good home business and it seems nice. And I've always been good at giving advice. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. Keep going here, because like, well, I got to say this part real quick here. Because I'm recognizing two things. One, we're going to end this conversation actually pretty soon, right? But there's more to be said, right? Two, I want to like give you the space of like that realization, just like be with this here, and like, and not have to turn it into like, because you're really good, like you lead others, right? So you, like, to not have to turn it into like leading others, and like if that's your moment, have your moment. Like I'll take it as you're having that moment there. You said something to the effect of like April ain't never had to do that, right? That's how I heard it in my head, right? And when you say that, like that, like I smile, I snap, my heart opens up, because I'm like, this is you're speaking to that thing that like that makes me say I'm focused on outliers. Because I'm like, they're like, for those of us who have had like who've just done things and we ain't never had to do that, like the paths that other people suggest, like they do work. They just, but they don't take advantage of any of what got us to the place that we now get to take advantage of what they're doing. You know, like I look at it oftentimes and I remind myself, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in this room right now with these amazing people, right? They had to work really, really, really hard to get here. I just like signed up, you know. I just applied. So one of my friends called me in here. Like, apparently I'm supposed to, like, I'm in San Diego. This is supposed to be my retirement place. I'm supposed to get here after I've quote unquote made it and I've done all my work in the world and I can come back and retire in San Diego. I am living that life now. You know, it is happening now. So like, but like, so for you to be in this space of like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Like I in my world, I call it like blazing your trail. Like what is it like to walk your path? You own who you are. April has that, you know. And what I also get about you is that like you're good at what you do. Like you live many lives. Like you touch things you touch turn out well, and you can execute. You can execute with the best of them. And what if I feel like what I'm hearing is like, yes, you're doing the execution. Yes, it's getting results. The real thing in my mind is like, damn, there have been times where it's been a lot easier. And I did all this work for like this, and I showed up, but I was out of flow. And there are times where I'm like, I haven't even had to try. Like I can walk down the street, I can go sit down and watch someone do some juicing, and I'll be like, she's not supposed to be here, you know? And leaving room for like that kind of greatness here. I don't want to. I just want to like leave the door open on that, open the window on that, and just let that be. But I like the like that just resonates so strongly.
Thank you. Yeah. Not that I need to, but you're right. Not that I need to agree, but you are right that it's huge for me. And it's so funny because intellectually I know where I need to be, but emotionally I keep chasing somebody else's way of doing something.
I would actually say, if I'm hearing from what you're saying, I would say it's the opposite. I would say emotionally, you know where you need to be. And intellectually, you're like, but this is the logical path to go and do. Oh, I have to do the webinar. Oh, I have to line these things up, whatever it is. I'm using these examples.
Yes, that's what they say I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's never, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I need to marinate on that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do that. Go marinate. Let's end this conversation here. I will give you two opportunities here. You can pass on any of them, right? What I like to do to close a conversation is say, like most people say, what's something you would tell your past self 20 years ago, know what you know now? I don't care about your past self. I care about like what's coming up for you, right? So I'm like, if there's a message right now with what's coming through for you, what's a message you would leave for the April that will come back in 10 years and listen to this? What's the message you want to leave for that April?
What's coming up for me is honor your truth.
Yep. I love, and you'll know what that means when it's time to know it. Right. The last thing here, then the last opportunity is people here are getting an experience of you. They're experiencing, like, we're in a conversation here. If they want to deepen that experience with you, I used to say if they want to continue the conversation, but honestly, if they want to deepen that experience and continue the conversation with you, what's the best way that they can do that?
They can reach out, send me an email right now because I'm about to quit all my funnels. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
Send me an email. April, just like it sounds, and APRIL at Forward Coaching, FRWD coaching.com. Send me an email. Tell me why we should talk. I'm happy to talk. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for being you. Thank you. We'll leave it at that, April. All right.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
We're just getting started. Take 10 seconds to think about your greatest insight from today's conversation. And if you're ready to go and bring this to a deeper, more applicable level for you, come and join us in an upcoming masterclass. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass to be coached live and to bring your aspirations, your goals, and your challenges and have them handled in real time. This is high flame, high impact, high transformation. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass and come experience your next level of leadership.